Oh, welcome to Tech Help Oz. It is what episode are we up to? Episode 9 for the 15th of May. Thank you very much for joining us. A little news blast, 30 minutes, or it's free as per usual stuff. My name is Benny, and always joined by my good friend Lenny. How you going, mate?
I'm good, man. How you doing?
Yeah, not too bad at all. Been a busy week, and it's good to be back in the saddle and having some fun with technology. All right.
That's the way to go. It's the best way to have fun.
Oh, yeah, with stuff that you love. All right. So we've had something pretty big happen, and I talked about it at length last night with Chris Ilsley at 6PR with my little radio show, and we've got some frightening stuff happening. So we'll just lead straight off with this one if you like. We have a fellow by the name of Chris Roberts. If you haven't heard of him, that's probably because you're not very tight in the hacking or digital security circles. This guy is what we call a white hat hacker or a security researcher. He goes about and he pokes holes in things, and he's found some holes. And these holes in particular are in the Boeing 737-800, the brand new ones. And he's found a way to get from the in-flight entertainment into some of the critical systems, namely, well, in one case, it was the thrust control systems for the engines. So between 2011 and 2014, he has compromised the entertainment systems a number of times, and one time he did actually manage to slightly alter the aircraft's course by telling one of the engines to climb or increase thrust. So pretty scary stuff. Now the FBI is all over him like a rash, and apparently he's been trying to tell United Airlines and Boeing about this flaw for some time now. And only after he has hacked a plane in flight. And this is all alleged stuff that's not to be confirmed yet. But it's pretty scary stuff. So United Airlines, FBI, trying to work out what's going on. And it's making everyone think twice about how they're implementing in-flight entertainment and communication systems and security, and it's potentially really, really nasty stuff. It also highlights a couple of things. Firstly, the way we approach security for these sorts of things has to be looked at, and also how are we going to test this? You don't really want to be testing it while it's in flight with many people on board. That's just irresponsible. It's dumb. But then again, you don't want to be burying your head in the sand and not addressing these issues and then leaving it to somebody not as nice as Chris Roberts, and they could actually do pretty terrible things like cut the power to all the engines, and that'd be catastrophic. What do you reckon, Lenny?
Wouldn't it be better to go the way of major tech companies like Google, and I think Bing and Yahoo did the same thing, where they had a challenge for hackers in the world to see if they can crack their security. So I know that Google had one a while ago for Google Chrome to see if hackers can crack their code to get behind the security wall. And once they did that, they found out how they did it. And the reward was the person that did it got a $10,000 reward or something like that. But doing that enabled them to protect it more. So basically, they now know one way someone can get in. They now protect it. And they keep having these competitions. If you can find a way to hack in, they will give you a reward as long as you tell them how you did it, and they can fix it. So they're basically just running competitions. Wouldn't it be better for airlines like Qantas, Emirates, and stuff like that to have a type of drone in the air and see, like, over an abandoned field and everything like that, like the thousands and thousands of acres that we can have someone fly, have a competition in the air. Whoever takes down the airplane or alters the airplane or has access to the airplane wins a prize. Then they find out how they did it, they protect it, they upgrade the software, kind of thing. I think that'd be the best way, because at the moment that's really, really frightening. The fact that not even airplanes are safe from hacking anymore. I wouldn't expect them to be, but it's kind of now shocked you a little bit, shattered the glass, I guess, knowing that you're flying in a big computer, basically. So, because those autopilots can now land airplanes by themselves. They don't actually sometimes need a pilot to do anything, which is terrifying.
Oh, yeah, it's very scary stuff. Yeah, the idea of a bug bounty is not new, and you're right. Google have been doing it. Microsoft have been doing it. A whole lot of tech companies have been embracing the security researchers, both good and bad guys, and they're finding a way to pay for these security flaws, because otherwise they'd be having to employ their own researchers to do this. Might as well just have other people who do it for fun, kick them a few dollars their way for finding something that's broken. Now, the idea of having
them a salary, it's a one-off reward. If you do it, that's a year's salary right there for.
Yeah. With regards to testing security on planes, you probably wouldn't want to do it with a large plane that's actually in the air. You don't want to sort of...
Like a baby drone, maybe.
Yeah, that's a heavy gamble. That's a pretty big gamble. They can do simulators, so there's nothing wrong with running it through simulators, but in this case, Chris had actually managed to find a panel to the in-flight entertainment system, remove the panel, and then he found an Ethernet jack sitting there exposed to the world, and that's how he got in. So he used his laptop, short lead, straight into the Ethernet jack. Let's see what we can find.
Now, is this kind of thing is this going to be that one person that ruins it for everyone and says, this person did this, I'm not allowed to bring my laptop onto the airplane anymore because of security problems, so that stops me from being able to watch TV or something like that? Is that what's happening?
That's my first thought. So we may initially see a knee-jerk reaction where laptops are banned outright. We might have a complete electronics ban on board. And this is just after the FAA and other authorities are saying, hey, electronic devices running while you're on planes is actually not too bad. We're not going to affect the navigation systems. And now this is potentially could be a bit of a problem. It could be a real downer. If you want to take your laptop with you on air, on the flight, it could stop things. But down the track, I'm hoping that we're going to see people, next step would be just shoving Araldite into the Ethernet ports for the in-flight entertainment system. Anything that's in the cabin, passenger cabin, that is anything like a communications port of any sort, should probably just be filled up with some sort of epoxy and just be done with it.
Because I flew with Qantas, and my airplane, my in-flight entertainment had a screen and had two USB ports, whether to charge a phone or I don't know what the other one would be for, maybe charge two phones, but that USB port, it would be linked to a computer of some sort, I would think. So what's stopping someone from developing a code or tracking something, plug it into that USB cord right there and accessing in-flight entertainment that way, putting on new movies or changing the movies or controlling in-flight entertainment that way? I think it's quite scary because people will be able to do that. And being able to hack a commercial plane is one thing. What if somebody finds out a way to hack a military drone? I think that's another thing. Like, a military drone is basically just a high-tech version of a commercial plane, but it has access to weapons and missiles and all kinds of things. So someone hacks that, shoots something at a country, the country's drone is blamed for it. There goes another big war going on. Like, it's just a matter of time if stuff like this is not done right away to resolve the issues in the software.
Yeah, yes. And that is another angle. So when we start seeing military resources taken over like that, but I would really hope that the military would be doing some sort of encryption and making sure that this sort of stuff is just not possible. Future designs. So actually, one of my listeners yesterday actually brought up a very good point, saying that this kind of hack would never be possible with the older versions of the Airbuses and Boeings and things out there, because the in-flight entertainment systems were added. They weren't there at the time of manufacture, so they'd have to have their own wiring put in. So I think the reason why we've got this issue is because during construction, whoever was looking at making things efficient said, hey, we've already got the cable running there. Why don't we run everything along that cable? It's all the same physical network. We're all sending signals all over the plane anyway. Why lay in another run of cable, which is going to be heavier and more expensive? And why not just use it, and we'll do things like logical separation of networks. So using different addressing schemas for different parts of the plane. So in-flight entertainment system would be on its own logical network compared to the control systems.
So different grids basically for everything. So everything would be an own thing. So you're like the important bits would basically just be in the front of the plane on its own network, whereas the in-flight entertainment might be in the back on its own server, basically. So there's no communication between the two.
Yeah, and that's probably what they went for with a logical separation, but they're all sharing the same physical network. So
exactly,
I think the answer to this would be absolutely physical networks separated. So you'd have to have at least 2 physical networks.
Yeah, I think that would be a good way to go with it. But I'll move it on to something that's just and it's affecting all kinds of white girls in America. There's Starbucks. The Starbucks app is getting hacked through people, and they're skimming dollars. Not massive amount of dollars, not like $10 or $15, but Starbucks is massive. I know that for people that don't know, Starbucks, there's only a few in Australia. There's one in Melbourne that I know of. They're trying to bring one into Perth, but other coffee shops are kind of trying to stop that from happening. But Starbucks is massive. Starbucks in America is in every single corner. So imagine this day and age where everything is on your smartphone. They have an app. You can order and you can pay straight from your app. Now, somebody is hacking this app, a group of people, I would assume, and they're skimming dollars. Now, if this app was downloaded 500 million times, 1 million of them do pay straight from the app, $1 from each one. You can imagine what that is. You'll be rolling in the dough quite quickly. But the fact is, now Starbucks is getting hacked. What is stopping my bank app from getting hacked? What's stopping my other things like PayPal that are built into devices from getting hacked? If this is just the opening, it's now we're in a world where everything is hackable. We're such a digital world where your money isn't very, very secure. It is not as secure as it can be on your mobile device. When you've got everything linked to your credit card digitally, your PayPal, everything is on your phone built into it. Whether you've got a PayWave built into your phone using your NFC chip, that is through an app as well. So my bank app for Commonwealth is on there. They've got a PayWave thing built into it, so I can literally access my account and just pay straight away with just tapping my phone and using the NFC ability. Now, what's scaring me personally, because I'm a very big fan of, had to move my camera there. I'm a very big fan of NFC. It's very underrated here in Australia. NFC is not used as much as it should be. Now, with these being hacked, I think NFC is now set back a couple of years because now people are getting scared again from downloading apps and linking all their digital money to these apps, because now people are going, hey, it's all digital. I can hack that. Let me get a few dollars from you here and there, because you won't notice it. Oh, I've got a $20 card. Oh, I must have bought something the other day that they overcharged me for. I have $1 missing. It's not money that people really realize is going. So is that gonna stop companies in Australia making apps, and because they're afraid of getting hacked? I don't know. What do you think, Ben? Do you think it's going to be a thing that's going to frighten some people here in Australia?
Well, yeah, it's going to frighten anyone. So you hear of this sort of thing happening, you're going to start thinking about it. And I believe that just thinking about it and being more aware is really a step forward. So now we're more aware that some of these apps that are preloaded and attached to our bank account, they should be treated with caution. So anything directly hooked into your bank account, which made me realize, and actually made me think that, hey, my PayPal account is directly hooked into one of my working accounts that I use. And sure, it's convenient, but it's made me think that, hey, if my PayPal account is hacked, someone can go straight through one of my main working accounts and effectively clean me out just by buying stuff through PayPal. So I'm going to start looking at things like two-factor authentication. Yep. And this is a good thing. So we're actually going to be strengthening our concepts about security, and we should be seeing people more accepting of things like just little roadblocks along the way. So things not being as convenient and more secure. So hopefully this is going to see a change in that attitude. And it's not that hard to imagine people will adopt this. There would have been a time, say 50 years ago, when you didn't bother to lock the front door of your house, you didn't bother to take the keys out of the car, you just left it in the driveway. People were okay with that 50 years ago. Nowadays, you lock the front door, you turn on the alarm system, you lock the car wherever you leave it, and people have got used to that culture of security. And it should be the same thing when it comes to our digital lives as well. We should be comfortable with using two-factor authentication, just as an example.
The thing is, like, with that is completely like true. It is true. We do use opportunities like this to create more security, and it's just a thing where not only are these people stealing money from other users, they're actually creating fake money on the app. So what they're doing added to it is they're creating digital currency. Starbucks have these vouchers that you create, like you pay $10 and you create like a barcode that they send you, and you can send it out to people so they can access it. And as long as you've got this barcode, you can scan it and you can use some of the money, right? So they're creating these $10, $20, $50 vouchers, and they're selling them at half price or a quarter of the price, and they're making money from literally not investing any money. It's digital money that they're creating, and they're getting real money from it. So is it possible to fact that my PayPal account can then get used to like just take money not only from me, but can I buy something from some like, can I convert PayPal dollars because they do have a wallet system? Is somebody using that to create fake digital money in PayPal's way and then cashing it out into their bank? Because it's all digital, it's numbers from what I can see from the systems. Digital banks now, banks don't have real money in there anymore. It's all just on their computers. It's all just numbers, and they can basically say, here's your money, there you go. You didn't actually, there's no physical money that you can get. So my PayPal account, I will say, I'll be honest right now, because like I don't want to short PayPal. They are one of the most securest way to purchase anything through the internet digitally. They are the most secure because not only there are a lot of steps that they do security-wise, but if anything was to happen to your money through PayPal or purchases through PayPal, they will refund it without a thought. They will investigate if you did not purchase this, or you basically let them know everything, you didn't purchase it, they will refund that money straight away. It's part of the clause of PayPal. It's why they're so secure. If you purchase something from eBay, it's not real. It's a fake item that you purchased, which wasn't in the description. They will send you the money straight back. That's no problem. But my worry is somebody accessing my PayPal and then doing all these purchases, getting real items, and then selling it for double. It's kind of scary on that sense, I guess.
Yeah, and that is, it is scary, but yeah, you're right. There are people doing the right thing, and PayPal definitely are one of them. And I also get notifications whenever something moves around in my PayPal account, which is also great. So I get a little message on my phone, and also I get an email for it, and that's great. Regarding banks and hacks and things, I'll probably give a bit of a tease, and I've got a ripper of a story we'll probably talk about in the weeks to come, where I'll save it, but it is a really really cool story. It's a ripping yarn, and I guarantee you guys will be blown away with how this worked and the sheer scale of this. It's something that the banks have been trying to keep hush-hush for a while, and a well-known security company have been called in to investigate it, and what they've found so far is absolutely staggering. So keep an eye out for that one in the weeks to come. All right, how are we going for time? We're getting close to time, and I think we've got one more story left. Is that right?
Yeah, do you want to talk about Revolt? Is that the next one that you want to chat about?
Well, Revolt, we could skip Revolt because I'm just having a quick chat to those guys, and we'll see what we can work out. But I see that we've got a story here about a woman being fired for disabling a GPS device, a tracking GPS device on her phone. Now, this is a phone that was supplied by the company. Is that right?
Yeah, in a way. Basically, the company, when you work for a certain type of companies, they are required. Like this one is a security company. They do with money. So when there's money involved, people want to be extra secure. It's fine 100%. Now, this company did not fully tell this woman that the device that she's got tracks her whereabouts 24/7. So literally everywhere she goes, this company knows where she is every second of the day. She didn't like that. She found out that this app was tracking her without her knowing. She uninstalled the app. A week later, she got called in the office. She got fired for uninstalling this app because she broke company protocol that this app was uninstalled. Now, what she is doing is she is suing the company at the moment for wrongful, I don't know, what is it called, when she's wrongfully fired, basically. So she's saying that she was not aware when she signed the contract to join the company that that app would be on the device, that she would get fired if it was uninstalled or anything about it. So the reason why I want to talk about it is because, is that what companies are doing now? I wasn't aware that companies even require you to have such apps on devices that they handed to them. I know that some companies give you devices that you have to follow security. So Samsung devices has Knox. So for companies that give you Samsung devices where you handle secure information, they make you use Knox 24/7, which is Samsung's security program on the device. Basically, you use the phone, that'll be the first page where it's a normal handset, where if you use Knox, it's the other side of the device. Basically, it gives you a second device to use, basically. So it is 100% secure. Its businesses love using Knox because all the information is 100% secure in there. Now, are apps like this now mandatory for companies to know where their employees are 24/7? Like, I know in the work, like in the company itself, like in the building, maybe. Like, why is Johnny on the toilet for the last 45 minutes? What's going on there? Get him out of there, basically. Maybe for safety reasons as well, so they know if there's an accident where their employees are or what's going on. But to fire somebody for uninstalling a tracking app that she wasn't aware was there to begin with, it's kind of putting it out there as like, okay, so I wasn't aware you were tracking me. Thanks for firing me. Why did you do that kind of thing? So it's bringing to light, like, would we ever put that on an employee's device, do you think? Because we would be sending people out to other people's houses. Do you think we need an app like that to track where they are?
Okay, so coming from an employer's point of view, I would personally, yes, I would install GPS tracking devices on company-supplied vehicles and company-supplied phones, but I wouldn't be using it during the day. It's reasonable to expect that if I supplied a vehicle that was used for deliveries, I'd want to know that vehicle is moving at all times. I'd want to know that it's doing its job. Or if there's a problem, I'd know exactly where to find that employee and help them out if they're under duress, if there's any problems. As far as putting an app on in this particular case, where it was an employer-supplied phone, and they said that this person had to have the phone on their person 24/7. Yeah, I don't know. If you're not working for someone, if you're not on the clock, then I would believe that your personal time is exactly that, your personal time. And what you do in your personal time is your business. So I'm kind of on her side. But
I think I'm 100% on her side, because unless she is getting paid for a full 24 hours, like if she's getting paid every hour of the day, 100% fine.
Yeah.
Track where I am all the time. I'm getting paid for it. If you're only paying her for 8 hours a day and then expect her to be okay with you tracking her for the rest of the day, that's not okay. You're not getting paid. She's not on the clock, as you said. So why are you doing it? Like, what is the reason for you tracking her?
Yeah. I'd like to see how this shakes out, because this is going to be a very, very big deal when it comes to privacy. And when we finish work in this day and age, with everything being so connected, do we really knock off from work, or are we expected to be available 24/7 at the moment?
Exactly. Would it be used for people like, can you come into work, and you say, no, I'm currently here doing this, and then they check your phone and your GPS, and they're like, oh no, you're not, you're lying, and this kind of stuff.
That's right. You're not sick. You're at the movies. What are you playing at?
Yeah, exactly. It's just it's crazy, the fact this, but I'll definitely like to see how this goes. I'm going to keep following this on the news for a little bit, and I'll see how she turns out, if it gets to court or how it goes. But it'll be very interesting to see how it goes. Ben, Nicholas has a question about Bitcoins. Like, with all the hacking that's happening at the moment. As far as, I'm not a professional in Bitcoins, I don't have too much knowledge about it, but as far as I'm aware, would Bitcoins not be a lot more secure to use because aren't they just encrypted coins that are digitally created? Like each Bitcoin would be different. Like wouldn't each Bitcoin be a different encryption? And that's why you have to mine them technically. Like weirdly speaking, you've got to mine for Bitcoins on the interwebs to get them. Is that what that is? Because I was never really up to date with it.
Okay, you can see I'm smiling because I've actually done a bit of research in Bitcoins. I've played with them, I've used them, and I think I understand them. I'm also, this is coming in right on what we would call the end of the show. So it's around about half an hour in, but I'm going to launch into it. All right, Bitcoins.
Go for it.
A Bitcoin is no more, let's see. A Bitcoin is really a means of getting transactions from A to B. So when you have a Bitcoin, you don't actually have something physical. You're holding transactions. So Bitcoins are kind of like the TCP/IP or the communications behind the scenes that gives us the web pages. So the web pages are the transactions, but the Bitcoin is more like the wires and the cables behind the scenes that gets everything from A to B. Now, as far as Bitcoin's being hacked, forged, whatever, that is extremely hard. Now, a lot of the work goes into Bitcoins, and people earn money with Bitcoins by verifying transactions, and all of these transactions are recorded in a global ledger called the blockchain. So if I was to have a transaction sent through, so if I was to send you, Lenny, some Bitcoins, I would actually send off that transaction to say, hey, this is my Bitcoin wallet address, and I'd like to send 0.5 of a Bitcoin to Lenny's wallet, which is this Bitcoin address. And I'd send that transaction off, and that transaction would be then recorded in the blockchain or the global ledger. And there'd have to be, I think from memory, it's at least 2 or 3 computers have to authorize that transaction. It happens very, very quickly, but there's a fair bit of work involved because to authorize that transaction, there has to be a whole bunch of hashing or a whole lot of work to be done to verify that transaction. So they've got to take the last transaction and then I can't remember the exact math about it, but there is a whole lot of number crunching to then add that transaction onto the end of the blockchain. And it's a massive operation. It's really hard work. And this is why there's now value attached to Bitcoin, because the miners are now spending thousands of dollars, even in some cases millions of dollars are being spent in Bitcoin mining organizations, and they're actually managing to generate some value out of all the reward they're getting for confirming these transactions. So
that is crazy. That is
it's radical, completely radical. It's just amazing stuff.
And before we finish up, I'd like to say, right, Bitcoins are, I would like to see them, if they were to be made simpler, more easy to use, like if I can just go somewhere on like the Bitcoin website, if they had one, and was like, listen, give me 50 Bitcoin dollars, here's real money, take it. I would like to see that happen and then become completely digital with money, basically. I'd like to take my whole paycheck, convert it to Bitcoins. I'm not gonna lie, my paycheck could probably buy like half a Bitcoin, probably. Like not even, maybe like 1/4 of a Bitcoin. Anyway, like buy the Bitcoins basically, and then just get online stores like Amazon and eBay and all that stuff to accept Bitcoins, because then you would have digitally secure money. You know that it's secure, it's easy to use, and that'll be the digital currency. Like you don't have to deal with stuff touching your bank account ever. You never have to touch your bank account. You would, even if banks had Bitcoins, we like, listen, I'm going to purchase this amount of dollars on the internet. Give me Bitcoins so I know my stuff's secure. You never touch my bank account. I'd like to see that happen. And Ben, you make that happen right now. Do it.
Okay, well, just quickly, just in point of interest, you were talking about how many Bitcoins your weekly wage would buy. I can tell you one Bitcoin right now is $293.64, and that's in the Australian money. So it's come down a bit. So I've seen the Bitcoin fluctuate as highly as just over $1,000 per Bitcoin, but now just under 300. So that's
because I know that one guy threw away like 20,000 Bitcoins on his hard drive once, and it was worth like a couple $1 million, and he searched for it like for 2 weeks
Yeah.
and stuff. That was hilarious.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie.
That was the saddest story ever.
I think I
Almost as
wept a
sad as
little bit when I heard it.
almost as sad as the guy who was the first to use bitcoins to buy pizza. So I think
Oh, yeah.
he bought 2 pizzas for 50 bitcoins, which would now be the world's most expensive pizzas. So we're talking over a few $1 million at the time where
Oh
it
my
reached
God.
the peak. So,
I
Yeah.
really hope that pizza guy held on to those bitcoins and was like, okay, I retired on 2 pizzas. Yeah.
but it is becoming widely accepted. There are some organizations that pay their staff in bitcoins. You can buy a lot of online services, of course, with bitcoins. But I'm really looking forward to the day when you can buy food and fuel with bitcoins, because when that happens, that's when we're seeing mainstream acceptance. But I do know that in Perth, for instance, the Frisk Small Bar will accept bitcoins in exchange for drinks, and that is always a good thing. Oh yeah,
That is very
so
interesting.
check those guys out. And there's also Bitcoin ATMs. So you can go to an ATM, you can pop in some notes, and it'll spit out a Bitcoin wallet or a Bitcoin address that you scan into your phone, and it authorizes, and you got the money ready to go in your account. And it also goes the other way, where you can present your phone with the barcode on it to say, hey, I want to send this much Bitcoin and turn it to cash, and the ATM will spit out the corresponding cash value. So there you go.
I am
is
so
happening.
special. In my head, when you said Bitcoin ATM and you give money and then it spits out Bitcoin, in my head, for some reason, I saw Bitcoins like physically come out, like little Bitcoins, like little coins.
Yeah, you can get those. They're a bit of a novelty thing. They're all individually numbered, and they are actual bitcoins or representation of bitcoins, but bitcoins really do not physically exist. That's the magic of them.
Nah,
It is
They're all
it's digital cash.
Exactly.
Digital cash.
All
right.
Yeah, that'll be a note to end on, my specialness.
All right, well, there we go. Lenny, where else can we find you, mate? What are you doing?
Follow me on Tech Help Oz there, guys. We've been having a little bit of a slump recently. We've just been so busy doing other projects that we have been slacking on the social media side a little bit, because we've got many projects on the background running at the moment, hashing it all out. There's so many things we want to do with Tech Help, and we're trying to just rein it in and focus on a few things. We're trying to expand the team a little bit every now and then, talking to some people. We are sorting some few things out soon. Hopefully, we're going to sort out the next couple of weeks, hopefully. So follow me on Tech Help Oz. I'll be posting a little bit more now that my Twitter account is all completely linked to everything. Every time I tweet, it'll be on everything. So keep up to date, and we'll let you know what's going on.
Yeah, great work. You can find me. My name is Ben Aylett, of course. You'll find me on Twitter. That is @Ben Aylett. And my business is easywireless.net.au. I'm also working very closely with Lenny as far as Tech Help Oz goes. And we've got so much in the pipeline. Just so excited to see what we can bring to you guys. And yes, Lenny is correct. We have been slack or otherwise engaged. And real sorry, but we'll be getting things back up and running again. And
Please
until
don't hurt
next
us.
week. Yeah, please don't judge us too harshly. We really are hardworking. We try hard. But yeah, in the meantime, guys, yes, please keep in touch. If you've got any questions, send them through Twitter, either directly to myself or preferably to @TechHelpOz. That is TechHelpOz. And we'll be happy to answer those questions. So if you've got any burning questions, we'll be happy to hear them and answer them. So until then, let's see. I will call up something
Outro
here.
video?
An outro video thingy, yeah, and I'll present that there, and then we'll press the play thing, and I'll catch you guys next week.